back to episode 13 of Create Astral. For some reason that I don't entirely understand, none of my audio recorded while I was making episode 13. Maybe it's because it's episode 13 that it didn't work out. So for most of this initial part, and I might actually combine what was originally going to be episode 14 with this, but I'm just going to do a voiceover for what is happening, and then we'll do that. So, anyway, what we're doing here is, our plan for this episode is to make an electrolyzer, which requires an unfortunate number of bits of copper. Each of those coil spools, for example, requires 4 copper wire, which I think each requires 2 pieces of copper, and we need, I think that was 8 or 9 of the copper spools just to make 1 copper spool block. So it's a lot of copper, and we needed some sort of thing to make us copper. Fortunately, we can make copper by using Viridium, and we mill it up, and we can then do the things for it. So what I've done is I've made an entire factory that is just for making copper. So in addition to a factory, I made a nice little actual shed for Alan the cow. And then if we approach this, you can see what this copper factory looks like. And at this point, it's not fully running. I still have to power the actual part that makes copper. Basically what happens here is it takes wheat from this machine, which seems to have turned itself off. Or maybe I turned it off. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with it. There we go. It takes the wheat, it makes it into dough. We also have this space over here making grapes, which I had also turned off, and that gives us lime green dye. And when we take the dough and the lime green dye, they get squished together and turns into slime balls. Additionally, to make the Viridium, we need cactus. Specifically, we need green dye, so we have this cactus farm here, which is quite cool, actually, I think. It is just a vanilla farm, but it worked out really well. And it is 3 stories tall. Realistically, that's way too much cactus, but that's fine. And it did give us kind of a backlog. If we go into this basement area, you can see it's completely jammed up because we just don't go through that much green. A little bit gross there in the back, but that's fine. Then we have a cobblestone generator. It makes cobblestone as you could expect. And then we also need some lava in order to fully make the Viridium. So this is the cobblestone thing. It's the same thing that we've been using. It drills the cobblestone, it drops it down, it just doesn't mill it at all. And then it goes in the chest. It's getting powered very, very slowly from our windmill. In fact, a lot of what we made is connected to that windmill for the grapes. But yeah, so we get the slime balls. They all that stuff eventually goes into that basin, which will then go into there, and then out into this item vault. That's where the Viridium goes. My idea was that it could deploy like a stack of Viridium. I don't think that actually worked. But then we have our usual smelter thing. None of this is connected up right now because I wanted to do this on camera, which is ironic because now I'm doing a voiceover for it. It's fine. Yes. So we got some materials to connect up the rest of this stuff, mostly being funnels. It's now going to be able to actually get the slime balls into this basin. We also need to put one here so that we get the cobblestone going. And we need one for the green dye, which I fail and put on the wrong side. But once we have it on the right side, now things should be going. I'm not sure why I put it back there again. I was probably just trying to go into it. And then we also need to power that last bit of stuff. we can see it's going in there. The only thing that's missing is the green dye, because that one conveyor I do not think is running. We're going to find out in a second to see if it actually goes in. Yes, it does. And then we can see the press goes very slowly downward. So anyway, the last part is just to make sure all of these last things are connected up. And how I do that exactly, we'll see. So I think my initial thought there was to take a chain drive and try to run it that way. It didn't quite work, but we can try to take that. We can remove that trapdoor, but that might be a little bit dangerous with the lava right there. So I'm trying to find a different way to power all of this. And what do I end up doing here? I don't even know what I'm trying to do here. Oh, it's powering the fans. That's what I'm trying to do. So we got the chain drive there. It's, of course, going the wrong way. So we use a belt to connect it up. And that now is blowing the correct way. And I think the last thing that we need to do here, bearing in mind that I recorded this like a full month ago, is turn the lava on. So that's pumping through that way. And then it should be able to make us some more Viridium as it slowly makes its way over there, because right now it definitely doesn't have enough lava. But we still need to power that conveyor. Otherwise, it should be going down, it smushes it, and spits out Viridium. Good. So the last thing is to just stick a shaft in there, because I think that's already going the right direction. As per usual with Create, I somehow completely missed the thing I'm going for. And unfortunately, it is going the wrong way, and then, because I'm bad at clicking on things, it rotates the entire wrong way. So I need to find a different way to deal with this. That gearbox is still going the wrong way, so that's not going to help. But maybe if I put another gearbox in, then that should now be rotating the correct direction. I can put the belt all that direction to connect the entire thing, and then hopefully that works. So it starts taking our Viridium, transports it into the mill, and then that should get crushed up into raw copper. Now eventually, once we get the bigger crushing wheels, we'll actually get more than just raw copper, but this is a good start, and honestly, looking at how this worked, it gives us more than enough copper. But as you can see, it smelts it down into copper, and that's the entire point of the machine. So we don't have to worry about copper anymore. It's working exactly as we need it to, and then it goes into that chest. So copper issues solved. So the next thing to do was to find some shimmer. It was fortunately like pretty much under our base. We had to dig a bit of a tunnel to get there, and as you can see, I found it. It was next to a geode as well, which I don't think normally spawns. I do get the impression that amethyst does spawn next to it. But either way, I didn't really want to just jump down into it, because I didn't know what it would do. So instead, I tried finding a way that I could just tunnel down. And going in through the amethyst seemed like a pretty good choice. So we're going to go in there. As you can see, we completed that quest. And then we can drop down into the Shimmer Lake area. It's kind of cool. There's some like moon sand, as well as just a very large area. And from there we can just light up the place, make sure everything's not going to attack us. Um, and it worked pretty well. I did have a rather full inventory. Take care of the creeper first. But overall, it worked pretty well. We also found a whole another cavern here, which I later would go through the entire thing and explore while I was trying to find some potions of weakness. But yeah, so we find the stuff. I do decide to jump into it quickly. It turns out that it just gives you night vision for a few seconds, which is really cool when you're underground and you're trying to see all of what's going on. There's not a whole lot to see there, but like as soon as it wears off, you can see how effectively that night vision works. So we make sure to grab a couple of buckets full, and then we head back to the surface. I did have to make some space to, like I said, dump out all of the extra items that we got and try to dig to this thing, but it wasn't too bad. So yeah, easy job done. And there we go, we complete the quest for actually getting the buckets. It doesn't look like it's a renewable source of shimmer. Maybe there's a way to do that, I don't know yet. But that'll be a thing to figure out later. So now with our shimmer, we're a step closer to actually getting to the moon. We have to first build our oxygen making machine though, our electrolyzer. So while the copper was running in the background, it gave us enough copper to actually build the thing. I built this little house over here. As you can see, it still has some dirt blocks outside of it just to help build the roof. So it's not really finished. The interior is also kind of messy, but I have this granite here that I put to kind of map out exactly where this machine's going to go. So I get rid of the granite, and we have all the stuff that we need. The electrolyzer is the thing that actually makes the oxygen. And then we have to surround that with copper casing, so we put that down. We leave a space in the middle, put the copper blocks all the way around. And then just another layer of copper casings on top. And that's what makes this machine actually a multi-block structure. The problem is that we also still need to power it. So I have a water wheel underneath there. You can see it was rotating around. There's also a source of water there because we also have to be able to pump water into it. And then the machine just does the rest of it. So here I am trying to figure out how to best connect that. As per always, when we try to put something down, it ends up facing the wrong direction. Again. So I decided what to try to do is let's try to just put the piping in first. Maybe that's a better idea. I also realized it probably needs to go in from underneath because I think the output is that hole right in front there. So we're going to run the pipe along this way. I realize I have to take apart a little bit of the wall. We'll make it look pretty afterwards, that's fine. Somehow miss that entirely. And then we just go up like this. That way, when I put the pump on, I can hopefully sit underneath and then get that to go the right direction. Of course, it doesn't, because of course it doesn't. It takes an extra try. And then it's just a matter of running a bunch of cogs over to there so that we can power the thing. That's literally it. So out of all the machines, this took a while to make, but it wasn't that bad. Or rather, I should say, it took a while to get all the pieces for it, but to actually make the thing, not terrible. Not sure what I'm looking around here for. It's just put the cogs down. It's that easy. Unless I was also thinking in advance about how do I get the oxygen then out of there. But that looks like it works as well. Not entirely sure. But yeah, so as I continue to fiddle around trying to figure stuff out, I see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to just take that cog and then run it over. That's fine. A little bit messy, but that's It works. So now all I have to do is connect the entire thing up. And there we go. We get an advancement as well. I turned that so it's clear so we can make sure that stuff is actually flowing through, which it does. And then we can see that water is going in there, which is then getting turned into oxygen. Unfortunately, we don't have anywhere for the oxygen to go yet, so it just kind of sits on top of there, waiting for something to happen. Yeah, so either way, we're able to make oxygen now. So we're yet another step closer to getting to the moon. From here out, my sound decided to actually work again. Still not sure what the issue was. But I'll take it past me, or I guess I'll give it to past me to carry on and wrap up the episode. So now that we have oxygen pumping, the next thing that we kind of need is the oxygen loader. I was hoping to get that done this episode, however, it requires sturdy sheets. Sturdy sheets are not that easy to make, so we have to make an entirely new thing. I'm just going to go for the really basic recipe where you just stamp it and hopefully get some sturdy sheets out of it. There's also a chance that we just get gravel, and I think that's the only thing else that we can actually get from it. But yeah, so we're going to call this episode there. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe. And when we come back, we'll have a whole new building ready.